welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nogutula Khonengqithane, and if this is your first time tuning in on this channel, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in here. Please do subscribe so that you can be part of this family. To my old subscribers, thank you very much, guys, for your constant support, your engagement. I really appreciate it. So today we are talking about family dynamics. We are talking about forgiveness and sanity, and of course this is based on my own personal experience and what I have learned out of all of these things that I've listed. Starting with the family dynamics, with our parents or with our caregivers, our parents, they are our primary caregivers, people that we trust. We first trust because they provide for us. They are there, they guide us as we grow up. It's people that we look up to, and you never even think of a situation where you could be protecting yourself from your own parent, or to having a disappointment, or to being hurt by your own parent, and where you need to set boundaries. I don't know about you guys, but with me, boundaries, it's not something that is being taught at home. It's something that I was never taught at home. And I grew up being vocal. I was a very vocal kid, and obviously they used to bash me because it's not like I talked a lot, but it's that I really voiced out. If I don't like something, I don't like something. If I like something, I like something. My grandmother would say, "Oh, uyathanda ukuthetha," yabo. And okanye kuthiwe you awundwebile. And looking back now, ndandingandwebanga nje. I was vocal and I was very bold. And I think my grandmother being very strict, I grew up being insecure. I grew up dimming my light, grew up, because I wanted to, not necessarily to be reserved, because I wanted to please my grandmother. I didn't want to be this extrovert kid, who's always everywhere, But that was the thing. You can be an extrovert, but you can still be wise and matured. You can still be respectful even though you are an extrovert. Being an extrovert is just a personality. It's not a character, and it's something that I had to to distinguish as I grew up, that being extrovert is just a personality, and who you are, it is defined by your character. So that's how I grew up. I grew up being vocal, and then I was like at home, they're like, don't be like that, don't be like that. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then when I talk about boundaries, I will make an example of the relationship between my dad and I. Those who have been in this channel would know that I grew up with my father. He was not present in my life up until I went to look for him. And then when I found him, I thought things would be better, because you know what, I don't know, with my experience, I always assumed maybe he's not around, maybe he's not in the Eastern Cape, maybe he doesn't know about me, maybe I had a lot of scenarios that I was like, I would understand when one day when he comes and say, I didn't know about you, okanye I was prevented to reach out to you, or something like that. But when I found him, it was quite the opposite. He has always been around. Like, chances are, even in my township, there were times where I would maybe pass by him. I don't know, because I never knew him. I only had the glimpse of him when I was a kid. And then I got angry. And I was so angry, and I tried very much to to make the relationship work, to have the father and daughter relationship to catch up all the time, or rather to just create new memories. And it was just not happening, and it was so frustrating, very much frustrating, that I became so angry, I became so bitter. At one stage I once insulted him, and because I'm a Jesus girl, one time I went to a revival, and before the preacher could even get into his sermon, he started speaking about respecting your parents, and irregardless of how they treat you and all that stuff. I was like, oh Jesus, I thought you were going to be on my side. I thought you understood what I'm going through. And luckily for me, and Betuna, I am very mindful. I am very mindful of the judgment day, and I would really, really, really love, love to get into heaven. So whatever that may cost me my entrance, I attend it. So I wrote him a message apologizing for my behavior, and he was like, I forgive you. I was like, you forgive me? But it's fine, for Jesus' sake. I'm just gonna do this. So, and I remember crying to God, and I was saying, this is so painful. It's like, it feels like I've been rejected twice, because I grew up without him, and that alone felt like a rejection. Now that I've found him, still the relationship is not relationshiping. It feels rejected twice, and by my own parent. So, and I was like, I am tired of crying about this, and I know that, sorry about that, I had a call. So I had to make peace with that. I had to make peace with the creaky relationship I had with my father. And it took a lot of toil, I don't want to lie. It took a lot of understanding. I think it can only be God, because you would wake up some days so angry, you just feel like giving him, long texts, and just tell him whatever that's in my heart at that time. And I was like, it's not worth it. It takes two to tango for a relationship to work. It takes two, not only romantic relationships, any kind of relationship. It needs both parties to participate. So, and I was like, he was not coming to the party, so that is okay. Let me just live my life as I was living my life without him. And ever since I took that decision, I was at peace. I was at peace knowing that he knows about me. He knew about me. He knew where I was, even though I didn't know where he was staying. Like, there's nothing that was hidden, and he chose that. It's painful choices he made, but there's nothing I can do about it. And then I made peace with it. And we're just cool. He sometimes calls, and we have a short conversation, and then that's it. And I'm cool with that, because he leaned down the mega kuyo, and you're right. That is the boundary that I have created, and it's okay for me. You're right, great. You're right, for the peace of mind. And I have worked so much on the forgiving part, not because I have healed from it, but because I have this theory, or revelation rather, that when Jesus was at the cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. He did not wait for the resurrection, right there at the cross when he was still in pain. He asked for forgiveness, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to forgive him, even though it still hurts that, hey, ingathi kwabanye he plays the fatherhood kakhle, but ikum le nto, I'm just gonna live my life peacefully. So it is so, what I've discovered is that it's so difficult to that you have to put a boundary emzalini. It is so difficult to, it's not difficult, maybe it's not a difficult thing to do, but like I couldn't just understand, but Haibo, do I really have to put this boundary? I mean, this is my parent. But in Jalo, for your peace of mind, you have to. So that has taught me to understand relationships. And when it comes to friendships, I think I've also mentioned that I've always had a good circle. I have always had a good circle of friends, starting when I was a kid and when I grew up. You know, and there are things that I have unlearned during